You're sitting in a boardroom, right? And the stakes are just incredibly high. A critical project is going completely off the rails.
Yeah, and everyone is firing off that standard corporate jargon. You know the words, but you might actually be missing the underlying psychological game being played for control of the room.
Exactly. So today we are doing a deep dive into a presentation deck titled TD0036 Technical Discussions. We really want to extract the strategic vocabulary of these high-stakes communications.
Right, because this is not just an English lesson. It's really about mastering the psychology and the rhythm of technical meetings in a global workplace.
So let's unpack this. Imagine our hypothetical project hits a wall. The immediate instinct is to figure out why.
Which brings out our first term. Someone at the table will say, well, let's skip the small talk and get down to the nitty-gritty of the technical failure.
Nitty-gritty. I mean, I hear that one all the time.
Yeah, and it originally meant cleaning actual grit out of floorboards and cracks. So in a high-stakes meeting, using this phrase isn't just a call to focus.
It's a power move.
Exactly. You assert dominance by abruptly cutting off the pleasantries. You're forcing everyone into the uncomfortable, tedious implementation details.
But digging into the nitty-gritty usually exposes a glaring problem. Like nobody actually has the data to solve the issue.
And panic starts to set in.
Right. Which triggers the next defensive maneuver. The leader has to immediately stop the bleeding.
So they deploy our next phrase. Just like the Dex example, they'll say, we don't have enough data on the new alloy yet, so let's table the discussion for our next meeting.
Okay, I have to challenge this one.
Go for it.
Whenever I hear someone say, let's table this, it just sounds like a polite corporate way to procrastinate. I mean, the visual is literally putting a document back down on the table to ignore it.
I mean, sure. To a junior employee, it definitely feels like procrastination.
Because it kind of is.
Well, to a senior executive, tabling is actually a high-level pacing skill.
Wait, really? How so?
It prevents a focused meeting from spiraling into, like, an hour of collective guesswork.
Yeah.
You are protecting the group's cognitive resources.
Keeping the agenda from completely crashing.
Exactly. And managing a meeting's time leads directly to how a company manages its resources.
Okay, so let's say that project delay causes the budget to get slashed.
The language immediately shifts from growth to survival. You start hearing managers say things like, during the budget cut, our primary goal is just to keep the lights on for the maintenance department.
Keep the lights on. It's the metaphor of paying the absolute minimum electric bill so the pipes don't freeze.
Yeah, and the psychology here is fascinating because keeping the lights on publicly lowers expectations.
It gives the team permission to stop innovating.
Exactly. But that scarcity mindset is dangerous. When you're only paying the minimum bill, survival instincts kick in.
People start hoarding resources.
Yep. Departments isolate themselves to survive the cuts. They become silos.
Siloed, like literal grain silos on a farm. Huge, towering structures full of resources, standing right next to each other.
But completely walled off.
Right. Okay, let's unpack this. It's like a rowing crew, where everyone is wearing noise-canceling headphones.
Oh, wow. That is a great image.
They're all paddling as hard as they can, but they have absolutely no idea what the person in front of them is doing.
And that negative management state is what ultimately sinks the ship.
Right.
Our source deck gives us the classic post-mortem sentence.
Let me guess. The project failed because the engineering and marketing teams were too siloed.
You nailed it. You end up with engineers building a product that marketing doesn't even know how to sell.
So here's where it gets really interesting. The project failed. The siloed teams crashed the boat. Now the client is furious.
When someone has to face the consequences, time to take the heat.
Take the heat. The imagery is so physical and intense.
Yeah, standing directly in front of an open furnace and taking the blast of hot air straight to the face. The deck gives us a project manager saying, as the project manager, I'm prepared to take the heat if the client is unhappy with the delay.
Why use a furnace metaphor, though? Why not just say, I'll take the blame?
Because it signals to the room that the failure is an environmental hazard, not a character flaw. It reframes leadership entirely.
So you aren't just a boss assigning tasks. You are the physical heat shield protecting your team from external pressure.
Exactly. It allows a leader to absorb the blame without sacrificing their underlying authority.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah. If we connect this to the bigger picture, these aren't just tired idioms. The rhythm of moving from the nitty-gritty to tabling issues, surviving on low lights, battling silos, and taking the heat.
That is the very real life cycle of corporate crisis management.
Precisely.
So what does this all mean for you? Next time you walk into a stressful boardroom, don't just listen to what people are saying.
Watch which of these strategic phrases they use to grab control of the room's pacing and psychology.
Exactly. And ask yourself, which one do you need to master next?